from UUM PES Kota Kinabalu. My name is Nalini Ramrao, metric number 268532, and this is my partner Christina Lo, metric number 268321. This discussion is for our assignment for subject English Proficiency 2, and we are going to discuss about career and studies development among women. Career actually has two definitions. The two word career is often used to refer to a profession, occupation, trade, vocation. A career could define what you do for a living and range for those that require extensive training and education to those you can perform with only to high school diploma and willingness to learn. A career would mean working as a doctor, lawyer, teacher, carpenter, veterinary assistant, electrician, cashier, teacher, or hairstylist. Study can mean research a way of finding new understanding, study skill, way to improve learning, study a room of the house similar to a home office, study art, a drawing series of drawings done by major work of art, field of study, a general topic of knowledge, etude, a piece of music also called a study, education, and an experiment. The present study explore factors that contribute to the making of career and study choices of female students enrolled in postgraduate programs. This study collected data from students enrolled in Master and MPhil program using a focus group discussion data collection strategy. The focus of data analysis was to unearth reason given by participants of their career choices and discover factors that influence their career choices. The focus group discussion revealed that family and female representatives in textbooks were the main reason for the choices. Female role that could inspire them to select a particular profession were missing in the textbook. To address the gap and omission and to help female students to make better study and career, this study suggests that the textbook regime should make more space for female-centered content and present to people the life stories of successful women in different fields. The career advancement of women has been a subject of abundant research, discussion, and debate for decades. As more women begin and continue to enter the workforce, organizations have been steadily implementing programs and policies to support women's advancement. In addition, governments have created laws, enacted regulations, set policies, and published guidelines to help individuals and organizations avoid unfair practices such as employment, discrimination against women, and to realize the benefits of a more diverse workforce. Research to that has examined the advancement of women in their careers from multiple angles. The individual characteristics that contribute to or detract from women's success, the impact of the work environment, co-workers and managers, leaders on women's advancement,
of work and non-work life for women, and the interplay of social, gender role, and power structure dynamic on women's success. Much research and popular literature has been produced on the topic, and career advice for women has become a prominent and regular figure in the popular press. With the proliferation of research and practical advice available, it will seem that we have ample information on women and careers. However, as illustrated in the contrasting opinion quotes, much of the advice provided is conflicting or inconsistent, at times presenting a damn if you do, damn if you don't dilemma. For example, women are advised to show more assertiveness and initiative within the work environment, but do so at the risk of violating gender norms and others' expectation of how a female leader should and should not act. The oft-noted observation that the same qualities, assertiveness, ambition, outspokenness, that earn men description of being leader-like, motivated, enthusiastic, high potential, and a goal-getter, stand a greater chance of labeling women as bossy, bitchy.
Issue that impact women advancement, gender role, self-concept, and career decision making. Vocational discussion and subsequent career advancement are guided in part by expected gender role and self-concept. Young children tend to have relatively high self-esteem, and we know that on average boys and girls have the same self-esteem in childhood. However, self-esteem begins to decline during adolescence, particularly for girls, while self-esteem begins to increase again in adulthood. The gender gap persists, with women showing lower self-esteem than men on average until it narrows in old age. Signals from society contribute to gender difference in self-concept. The media bombards young girls with messages that convey their worth to society come to their appearance and sexual appeal. Across many countries and from the media, women are often than men are prototyped in revealing clothing in ways that suggest sexual richness and is decorative object rather than whole person. In 2013, organizational dynamic article Souza Ezzedine provide a fascinating look at how women are portrayed in the movies. Women with successful career are often depicted as not being fun or alternatively as promiscuous, nasty to others, neurotic, and as inept at mothering. Women are demanded in doing something like a girl is ineffective. Insult that objective women even when live against boys. Further, young women set unrealistic expectations about requirements for the implication of objective career success and sway women away from career advancement pursuit.
current literature intended to focus on structural, organizational, and personal barriers which might impede the women to climb academic hierarchies, as many types of research demonstrate that despite an increased presence of female employees in mid-management position, executive position, and full professor position across the globe continue to be male-dominated. Structural barrier. At the managerial level, recruitment, hiring, and promotion processes are informed by image of the successful manager. This image is stereotypically masculine. The successful organization and the successful leaders share many of the same characteristics such as strength, aggressiveness, and competitiveness. Expectations that theory enlighten that certain traits typically associated with men and women are taken into consideration by hiring managers. Traits like competence and authority are typical and affiliated with those of higher status, and because cultural and stereotypical beliefs have led us to associate this with men, there is a correlation between gender and higher position within organization.
Organizational barriers. For example, Pakistan is a traditional and man-oriented society where the male is the head of the family and is responsible for taking or approving all the decisions about the woman for his family, like education, selection of subject, field of occupation, math selection, and many others. Since centuries, women were confined to the home and were responsible for doing domestic or non-paid work. But for the last 2 decades, women considerably come into higher education and eventually started coming into paid labor force. Once women have successfully found their way into the workforce and landed a position in their desired organization, other type of discrimination becomes apparent. Although women in Pakistan have worked in gender academic institutions for long, but population expectation, advanced and professional education paved their way for employment into co-educational institutions, where usually women were underrepresented in university, as inherently universities were masculine in nature. Personal barrier. With reference to personal barrier, there are 2 important points of view on women less representation in the upper echelon and academic. Firstly, women do not have the skill or interest or time to do serious scholarly work. Secondly, men intentionally discriminate because they do not want to share power. But it is not as simple as shows. Rather, there are some more subtle dynamics at work, and that exists both on the individual and the institutional level. There are predictably some striking differences or gaps for women: academic responsibilities, household duties, and family situation. Many academic women believe that they have disappropriate responsibility for service in their departments, as they tend to put in longer hours than their male counterpart for childcare, housework, and elder care. Some women sacrifice their careers to be wives and mothers.
Finally, and perhaps most important, while it is imperative to consider each of these factors, distinguishing cause and effect in identifying what has led to the current state of affairs, as well as what will continue to drive change, is complicated. In all likelihood, intrapersonal, interpersonal, perceptual, societal, and structural factors all interact to determine the progress of women in the workforce. This suggests that a combination of multiple integrated action, generated and supported in collaboration by individuals and groups across a range of government, economy, behavioral science, and business disciplines, may be most efficacious in addressing the issues impacting women's careers and advancement. Efforts along this line are an important endeavor and a worthwhile way to help create a more fair, equitable, and productive society. That's all from us. Thank you.